Dude, I hate that song, but I can't help dancing.
All righty. Hey, Matt.
What's going on, man? How you doing? We'll say hello to everybody. So how you doing, Lyle?
I'm good. How are you? I'm cold.
It's been raining like mad. Oh, wait. We got to do the intro. Welcome to Cranky Old Anglers, everybody. My name is Mark, co-host of the great Lyle Stokes. What's going on, Lyle? We'll start over again.
Yeah, man. No, yesterday it was cold but windy. God, it's been so windy the last few days. I went fishing the other day and caught some fish and had a good time, but the wind has just been brutal the last few days. So I'm hoping it'll slack up a little bit. But Mark, almost 50 next week.
We got 30. Well, the warmest for us next week is 32 degrees.
Well, that's better than minus 32.
This weekend's going to be high of 7, low of -3, I think, something like that.
We got a 1 degree day coming up.
We'll see. I haven't been able to get on. I'm sick. I don't know if you guys can hear it. So if I mute my mic, it's because I got a sneeze or something. So you'll have to forgive me for that. But I wanted to be here because we are getting real close to Christmas. Next week's my birthday, Lyle.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness, he knows. I feel honored. It's my buddy Mark's birthday tomorrow. So we kind of celebrate our birthdays together with the wives. So we're going to a concert tomorrow night. We're going to see the Big Bad Voodoo Daddies.
The what?
Big Bad Voodoo Daddies. You would actually like them. They're kind of a big band, swing type band, Lyle. Right up here. You'll like it. I'll send you some video. I think you enjoy it a lot. But it's a Christmas show, so it should still be fun. But they're a pretty big name band, so we're looking forward to that. And then we're going to a bougie steakhouse on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to try some bone marrow. Never had bone marrow.
I don't know that I have either.
No, I'll eat it. I don't care. I'll try anything once, maybe even twice. I don't care.
The best Christmas show I ever watched, I'm not big on Christmas shows. I'm kind of a bah humbug kind of guy. But Cindy and I went and seen Pam Tillis's Christmas show. It's been years ago now. Huh? And that was the best Christmas show I think I ever
seen. All right. The ladies got some wild idea, like, let's go see a play. I'm like, oh, Lord help me. Right.
Instead of that.
So it was a Christmas play. And what they did is they redid old Jack Benny radio shows. They did 2 of them. They served beer and they served wine. So that was a bonus.
All you could drink?
Not all you can drink. You had to pay for them. But we made the ladies go get us drinks because they made us go to the play. So they were getting us drinks. So we had a good time for that. So that was a lot of fun. We stopped and visited my buddy Pete over at the Annex on the way home, and we had a good time. December's always a busy month for us. We kind of enjoy going out with our friends and stuff. So that's what I've been doing last week. Besides being sick and trying to get some appliances installed, it's been busy. So,
hey, Mike.
What do you say? I say hello to everybody.
Okay.
All right. We got on the horizontal side, we got Bugman in the house. What's going on, Buggy? How you doing, Brian? Miss Chrissy Brown. Hugs to Chrissy. How you doing, Chrissy? I seen Ernie's been trying to get a deer too. He's been out in the blind. We got Cindy Stokes. What's up, Cindy? How you doing? There's Crappie Dave Fish on. What's up? Darren, I believe, right? Heather Stokes in the house. Heather, I hope you're feeling better, dear. For Joe Buck 66. If you want to support Lyle's channel, there is a link down in the description. You can just click on that and become a member. Oh, there's our buddy LG Bass. I seen he's been out there fishing a little bit. Kind of watched him on the down low while I was doing some other stuff. There's my arch nemesis, Troy. I saw that comment, Troy. I ignored it. Again, I need to tell positivity in my life. It better be attached to a super chat. We've been through this already. There's my buddy Matt. Want to be outdoors. Matt's been hunting like a madman. He's been answering all my questions. I've been bothering him like crazy. Let's see who's on the vertical side. Vertical side, I see Benoit fishing outdoors. Hello, ladies. Joe Buck's on that side too. He's multitasking. Good deal. Hey, John Boy, how you doing? There's our buddy Mike Sampson. Crappie the Crappie Kid, what's going on? He was live this week. I saw him live, popped in there for a second while I was getting ready to leave the house. So it was cool to see him live. Make sure you guys sub to his channel. He goes live quite a bit if I'm not mistaken. So, and Lyle, what's that say on the screen there? It says, I got some news Lyle is gonna love. Are you ready for this news, Lyle?
I guess so.
I got approved for a Cabela's credit card.
Oh boy. I can help you with that.
I kind of thought you might like that.
Yeah, I can help you with that. I'm guessing we could probably max it out in one night.
That's not going to happen. That is not going to happen.
Well, you never know.
Well, I need to get a rifle, so I figure I'd get it and use it for that and make payments for the year once I get ready to do it. So I think that was the way to go with that. So
there you go.
Look at that. Crappie Kid says, oh yeah, I'm going live every time I go out this year. Very cool.
Sounds like a plan.
Matt says, I'll be up there Saturday. I bet I beat Lyle there. Uh-oh. Where are you guys going on Saturday? You guys got a date or something?
Not that I'm aware of.
There's Solo texting. What's going on, Solo? How you doing? It says, hello, Cranky Lyle and Grumpy Mark. What else you got going on, Lyle? We're going to try. Last week, we tried to give our opinion on stuff, and we started talking about hunting, and we got carried away, and we didn't do one thing that we had planned. So we're going to try to do that today. So you got anything you want to give your opinion about?
Oh,
we can start there.
Can we start with Joe Biden?
No. That's for our secret channel that we have 1 million subscribers for that we're not sharing here.
You know, wintertime used to be my favorite time of the year. I would hunt and fish some, but I hunted a lot. And I don't like cold weather anymore. I don't like it at all.
I used to love it in the cold. I did a lot of snow plowing back when in like 2004 through 2015. I think I plowed for 11 years, and I used to love it, Lyle. I was making money. I was out in the cold. I was playing in the snow. It was good. I got a little old, had some problems with my heart, so I had to kind of slow down with that. So I kind of backed off, but I've been watching these guys on TikTok. They're posting a lot of like plowing videos, and I ain't gonna lie if I didn't say I missed it. So it was a good time going out, hanging with the guys. We'd have our, we actually had CB radio still, cause that was just the easy way to communicate. When you got 3 guys in a huge like church parking lot, you kind of got to, stay in communication. That worked really well. So, and then there was always, breakfast over at a restaurant called Round the Clock, where it was all you can eat pancakes, and boy, we could put them away.
I bet. Yeah, I had a snowplow when I was service manager at a GM dealer years and years ago. They traded for a truck that had a snowplow on it, and it was brand new. And I made a deal with the guy that owned it that I could use the snowplow all winter to make money. And all I had to do was let the salesman use my truck to clean off his parking lot during the day while I was working. Great.
That sounds like a winning plan to me.
It worked out really well.
There's our buddy Jeremy over at Creole Catfishing. How you doing, Creole? What's going on, bud? Seeing if I missed anybody. I'm sorry?
He's been on some good fish lately.
He has been.
Yeah.
He's always on some good fish for 2 things. He knows how to fish, and he's got the fish down there to catch. That always helps.
He does that. That's for sure.
Okay. Here's my opinion. Let's get started here. The waters you fish, Lyle. You know where I fish, right? Mm-hmm. And if I catch a 10, 12 pound channel cat, or a 30 pound flathead, I'm at the top of that. I'm at the top of that heap of fish that are in that river. and then you watch like people, like Creole, that have the opportunity to catch the monsters down there on the Mississippi, down in Louisiana. And I ain't gonna lie, if I didn't say it, didn't kind of chat my hide a little bit that I didn't have that kind of fish.
Yeah, well, it depends on where you go and the water you're in and what they got to eat and the climate. The climate has so much to do with people don't understand. Down south, they don't have winters like we do, and they feed year round. I mean, flatheads go dormant up here where we're at, Mark. They just, guys say they don't. They eat year round. That's bullshit. They do not eat year round. They go dormant. They lay still for days and weeks and months on end until the water temperature gets up to where it's comfortable for them. Then they start feeding again. And if you don't think that's correct, go out early spring and catch the first flathead you see and see if it ain't real skinny, because it will be.
Because they ain't all
right. That's right. That's right. Now the guys that are catching them, they're snagging them. It's just that simple. They can say they're not snagging them, but they are. Flatheads do not feed in the wintertime in cold water. They just don't do it. And I've watched hours and hours and hours of video with people putting live bait right on top of them. They won't even move. They just don't move.
Bait, live bait, they won't touch this stuff.
No, they don't. They don't in the winter.
I know where they stack up here on the river in the winter, like cordwood. They are there. And you know what? If I'm out on the river when it happens, which was probably in the last month or so, I go nowhere near that spot. No one needs to see me over there because I know exactly what will happen. Now this year I've had a pretty rough year flathead fishing for a couple of reasons. And I think maybe somebody got into one of those spots. I don't know. We've had awful lot of, I can't stand poachers. We're going to have to talk about them too tonight. I can't stand them. We've had some guys that run seine nets all the way across the river here that have gotten arrested. There's also some rumors that some of the local organizations that are not as savory as some of the legal ones have stopped them guys from doing that because there's fish on the river here. So, say what you want, but they did a good thing there. Let's say hello to Jody. How you doing, Jody? And I don't know. It had a lot to do with a bunch of stuff. But then again, I think fish are cyclical, just like rabbits. The rabbits, every 7 years they go through cycles. They got predation. They die and they breed and they come back and their populations come down. I think fish are pretty much the same way. That's just my opinion. I've had that conversation with Chris Souders when he was on my show, and he tended to agree with me. So
everything runs in cycles. It doesn't matter. It just like global warming. It's a cycle. This Earth has been warming globally since the last ice age, and it will till the next one hits. So they can talk all that baloney they want to talk about. It's a cycle that the Earth goes through. The same with fish or anything. I mean, everything travels in cycles. Right now, we're having a cold winter. We haven't had a cold winter in some time. When I was a kid, I remember having snow on my birthday a number of times in October. You don't see that anymore, but it'll come back. It just the way the world works. So.
Yeah, especially on the internet, now that everybody has such a great reach, people have figured out how to fearmonger for popularity and for profit. So whatever you read on the internet, I'm not going to say this any less. Read and take with a grain of salt. Prove it yourself. I mean, even this day with like AI, you can go ask questions and it'll outright not know the answers because there's so much garbage out there on the internet that it's farmed. And you just got to use some common sense and figure stuff out. If you go back and forth asking questions with AI, you can get it to figure it out or tell you the truth. I don't know if you could say it's lying to you. I just think that, the number of shit posts, pardon my French, out there on the internet kind of take precedence, and that's what steers the answers on AI. So,
I am a big history fanatic. I like watching stuff about history and different things that's went on. And I watch these YouTube videos about things that AI is deciphering now, like Sumerian tablets and different things. And it's to the point where you don't know what to believe and what not to believe anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So makes it really tough to determine what's false and what's not, because it's, in my opinion, if somebody's putting stuff out there that ain't true, then they ought to be taken off, or you don't have to look at that crap.
I gotta do something here real quick, Lyle.
Well, go ahead.
All right. I just had to time somebody out who was inappropriate in chat here.
I see Josh in.
Josh, how you doing, Josh? Josh says, Lyle, I'm disappointed. Dockery and I were going to do a show one night called What We Think, and you told us we couldn't.
I don't remember.
Could be. I can't say I blame him. Hold on, I'm way up here. Creole says, yeah, it definitely helps that I'm fishing the best trophy waters in the country. See, it don't hurt. So,
well, you're on the greatest body of water there is for catfishing. That's the Mississippi River. They can say what they want about Wheeler Lake and the James River and all them places. They can't none of them make a pimple on a Mississippi River's ass. It's just the way it is. It's the greatest body of fishing water in the United States.
Well, how do you compare that to the Missouri?
The Missouri was commercially fished really hard for a lot of years. And when they stopped that, the Missouri is making a big comeback. The difference is the Missouri is free flowing from South Dakota all the way down till it dumps into the Mississippi River, where you have dams and stuff on the Mississippi. Now, dams is the biggest piece of structure on that river, period. Nothing can, there's no argument that can say that the dams are not the biggest piece of structure around. Now, sometimes of the year it's better than others, but the Missouri doesn't have any of that from South Dakota down to where it jumps in at St. Louis, above St. Louis. So I can remember a time when if you caught a 70 or 80 pound fish on the Missouri River, you really hit a home run, because there just wasn't that many big fish on there. There was some, but they was few and far between. Now there's several 100-pound fish caught on Missouri every year. So yeah, it's making a comeback, but it, just like anything else, it takes a while for that stuff to take place.
Well, the Missouri River is definitely there's a lot more current than the Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, until you get down below St. Louis. Yeah.
Okay.
Once you get below St. Louis, that last dam that locks the barges and stuff through below Alton, there's one more that diverts through a canal. Once you get past that, that Mississippi gets to getting it too. And by the time you get down from Memphis on, it's really screaming down there too. It's not uncommon to see 8-9 mile an hour current down there.
Well, you know, it seems to me, now I don't know because I haven't fished it, that in those high current situations, that's where those big fish are coming from.
A lot of times.
A lot of times. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say hello to Lance, and let's say hello to Brian B. What's going on, Brian? How you doing?
The blues don't mind current. The current doesn't bother them. Channel cats sort of like that. Flatheads, they don't really, they're not wild about that much current. They'll find an eddy or a low spot or something to get out of a lot of times. But blues, they don't care. They'll just, they'll sneak in behind a wing dam or a rock dike or something, and they'll sit there and wait for something to come by and run out and snag it, and that'll be that. But the current is, they like it.
Well, it's just a faster conveyor belt for food, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's what I would think. Common sense tells me that that food gets to them a lot faster and a lot more of it. So they're able to feed up pretty good, sitting in the shadows or right on those seams and stuff. That's where I would fish. We know that our buddy Luke Henges, he caught that big monster. I'm not sure how much it weighed, but I remember seeing the video and he had to chase that fish down. It was so big. That was kind of cool to watch on his channel. I think it's,
you know, there's a lot of people that do that, and it's a safer way to get them fish than trying to drag them, especially if you're dragging them up current. Oh man, that's hard to do. So just tie a bottle off on your anchor rope or a anchor buoy or something, and go with that thing. Let it wear itself out, and then just reel it up. I mean, that's just safest way for the fish and safest way for you to do it a lot of times, and you don't have to fight yourself so hard. Another thing about fast currents, especially over dikes, rocks that below the dams, that's where the most current is also, or the most oxygen, sorry.
Creel says, fast current means high water, which also means a much wider river, 5 miles wide in some places because of the distance between the bank and the levees. Thousands of acres of flooded trees. There's a lot of places to hide.
That's right.
Look at this. Sean says, we'll give him the first one for free. What these two old farts know about catfish? All I see them with is bait.
Okay.
Next one attached to a super chat, Sean. Lyle doesn't need to take this abuse without getting paid for it.
I've caught some big fish, but I haven't caught any recently. Of course, I haven't been after them, you know, for some time either. If I go catfishing now, I want eaters.
Well, it goes back to where we started. I mean, I catch big fish for my river and my waters. You know what I mean? Granted, you know, I'll fish whatever opportunities are out there, whether it's, you know, bluegill, crappie, walleye, you know, channel cats, flatheads. I fish for most. Salmon this year I started doing some fishing with that. So multi-species fishermen. Looks like Jody found her way over to the other side. She found a way around being timed out. She just went from the vertical to horizontal.
Oh man.
All right. What do you got complaints about? What are your thoughts on something?
As far as anything?
Anything you want to talk about except Joe Biden?
Well, Democrats in general, but I'll pass on that.
All right.
This weather's really got me bumming. I'm so tired of winter already, and we just started. So, you know, I would like to find a place that I could live where it's 60 degrees year round.
Yeah, that would be nice. Between 60 and 80 degrees, that could be the temperature swing throughout the seasons, but I don't think there's any place in the United States like that. So,
not that I found.
No, not really. You have to move to the Caribbean or something to get, you know, such a narrow band of weather. That would be kind of nice. Maybe someday, if I win that lottery, we'll get there. All right, I got another topic I wanted to talk about.
All right,
artificial intelligence and fishing.
Okay.
I'm starting to see, you know, granted, AI is great for you doing stuff like making your videos look nicer, making thumbnails, making memes, things like that. I use it for all of that stuff. But I'm starting to see people create AI fishing videos. And I don't know about you, that just doesn't sit right with me.
I don't know enough about it to make intelligent determination about that. I've not even looked into AI. I know sort of what it does, but I don't fool with it at all, so I don't really know much about it. Hey, Mike Irwin, welcome, buddy.
What's going on, Greg? How you doing?
A lot of people do a lot of things with that, and I looked into AI editing videos for me, and come to find out it really doesn't do what I was looking for it to do. I thought the way they was talking when I first started checking into it that you could just download your video and it would edit them and spit you out a product. That's not the case.
Actually, it is if you know what you're doing. It's not as easy as you think, but there's programs like Sora and a couple of other ones that will do that you have to have subscriptions for. It's not as easy as you think, but it will be someday, like anything. You know, back when you were live streaming your show at the very beginning, nobody was doing it because it wasn't easy to do.
That's right.
But it got easier and easier, and now anybody can live stream. I picked up when it was fairly easy doing it on my channel and my show, and that'll happen. Now, here's the thing with AI. Remember when those walleye guys put lead in their fish during a tournament?
Yeah.
And they got in a bunch of trouble. I would compare using AI to enhancing your fish pictures or videos to make the catch greater than it is originally.
Yeah.
I would compare it to that. Chrissy says, not Chrissy, I'm sorry. Cindy says, I'm going to buy a motorhome where I can travel to warmer weather when it's cold. That's a great idea.
It is.
And Troy says 5 more years, Lyle. I think it'll happen even before that. It's going down that roller coaster first hill. It's going to catch so much speed. I think we're going to see it in the next year or two. It's come so fast in the last 5, and it's only coming on faster, Troy. So
that's true. That's very true, because I know there's a lot of things that they do on AI now that I would have never believed anyone could have ever done without doing the work, but that's not the case now.
Hey, I think that's a new user here. The Lake in the Woods says his name is Lyle too. Welcome, bud. Let's see. Benoit says, someone said our short was AI when we showed ripping out trout guts in one pull. Well, I know you can do that, but yeah, that's another thing. It's going to go both ways. People are going to doubt what they're seeing, and people are, the real stuff, and they're going to come up with a bunch of other reasons for it. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Very interesting.
Well, it's kind of scary, Mark, to think what it's going to be like in 5 years.
Yeah. Well, we can get into the political part of it, or even the legal part of it. I mean, who's to say that someone can't generate some AI video to use in a court of law? That's going to be interesting to see what happens in those cases.
And that goes back to where I remember a time when you was shooting video. If someone was in your video, you had to get them to sign a release.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
No, you can video in public places. I'm a firm believer, and that's the way it should be. Jody over here fibbing. She says, I catch fish big enough. I don't have to Photoshop or AI.
Okay.
Creel says, I think the funny AI videos are great. Agreed. Or the ones that are obviously fake. Not cool when it's passed off as real. And that happens. There's channels out there or pages, even on TikTok, where they actually talk about how they train the less educated in AI, us older guys, on how to fool them and make money off them. So, I mean, keep that in mind when you're watching any videos these days. That's
the next thing, Mark, is how many people are using that to scam people?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can generate anything that says any government entity you want requires you to send them X amount of dollars. And a lot of people may or may not check into that to see if it's legit or not.
You see, now this is acceptable use of AI to me. He says, I'm going to start making AI videos of Lyle cheering his butt off at Wrigley Field.
You never have to worry about that. If I cheer, it'll be because the Cardinals are there beating the piss out of the Cubs.
Jody says, I wonder if AI could make a cooking video. I bet you it can.
I don't know why not.
Not even you could do that, Jody.
Wow.
So So yeah, that's my opinion on like AI videos and using it to enhance fish. I kind of played with it for a little while just to see what it could do. And that PB bluegill I caught this year, that 1 pound 4 ounce one, which was a monster. I could make that thing look like it was 15 freaking pounds huge. I'm like, oh, this is out of hand. I didn't post it or nothing. I was just curious to see what it can do, and people are definitely going to use it for that. So we'll see what happens. Now another thing is YouTube videos. There's a formula that people use. A majority of the creators, almost all of them, use for fishing videos. Am I wrong, Lyle, or what?
No, I think there is.
And it's becoming so what's the word, saturated, that it's kind of hard to pick and choose ones that you really like, and creators are not getting the attention they deserve. What I was thinking about last week before we had the show is that when are we going to see something different? Is AI going to be that something different in creating these fishing videos, outdoor videos, and so on? I don't know. Well, I mean, it goes even into Hollywood. Hollywood, they just remake the same stuff over and over again. How many superhero videos do you want to watch and pay for?
None.
There's a lot. None. Well, that pretty much has capped the creativity in online and movie entertainment, whether it's in the fishing industry or just the entertainment industry as general, to be a hindrance. So I don't know. People stay with those formulas when they make money. When do they stop making money? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few years and if things change, if that makes any sense.
Well, they're going to continue to make money until people quit watching them. That's the thing.
So. Josh says Jody will be the first person in history to give ChatGPT food poisoning. Matt's got a fishing question. Says, with all the up and down temps, does this affect pan fishing as much as catfishing? Figured I'd ask, since it's not a pan fishing show anymore, Matt. It's a grumpy old angler show. We talk about everything here. But here's my thoughts on that, Matt. When the weathers get cold here, you have the weeds, they get killed off, and those panfish usually stay on or in the weeds. So definitely they're going to look for more structure elsewhere, whether it's in brush piles further out into the lakes or ponds you're fishing. Plain and simple, to that effect. Yeah, when you have that turnover, whether it's in the fall or in the spring, it definitely affects them like it does catfish, maybe in different ways. So,
well, they all are. Most any predator fish is very structure oriented of some type, whether it be rocks or stumps or weeds or whatever the case may be. But they'll just move from one type of structure to a different type of structure because that's where the bait fish are going to be. And one of the things that people often forget about is wind direction, because the wind will blow the zooplankton up onto the bank whichever direction it's blowing to, and that's where the shad are going to go, and that's where the crappie and catfish and all that other stuff will shortly be thereafter. Yes, I have been.
Greg says he had 74 degrees on there. He was waiting for the show. Thanks for waiting for the show. Okay. Teach me your feelings on changing leader length in the cold water and why. Lyle, you want to take that? Do you have an answer for Jody?
I usually use shorter leaders in the wintertime and suspend bait up off the bottom if I'm fishing for catfish. I don't use leaders for crappie, so I just tie directly on with jigs. I don't fish with live bait or anything like that for crappie. I just use jigs, and I don't need a leader for that. But if I tie a shorter one up, it keeps it from getting hung up so bad, and there's less current. As a general rule, there's less current in the wintertime. That way the bait will stay around where I put it and not willy-nilly move all over the place. And when the current's high, it doesn't matter because they're used to that, but not this time of the year.
My feeling is Again, going back to like the weeds dying off, I usually on my river I'll gear my leader lines to how deep the weeds are, because I want to keep them baits above the weed line so they don't get lost, they don't get buried in there. So I do that. I'd definitely go with a shorter leader line. Them fish are going to stay closer to the bottom in the winter, to be honest. At least that's what I've found. So
I think Josh is right about that.
yeah, Josh says shorter leaders, everything shrinks in the cold water, Jody.
Butterflies and sunshine has made it in. But
Elsa,
yeah,
what's up? Elsa says, Lyle, have you been fishing lately? Haven't run into you in a while. You went fishing yesterday, didn't you, Lyle?
Yes, I did. I haven't. I missed several days in a row because it was just cold and windy, and I didn't want to fight with cold wind. But I did yesterday, and I had a pretty good day. It wasn't a banner day, but it was a pretty good day.
Brian says, will Lyle be taking any rods with him when he goes up north for work? I'm going to answer that question for you, Lyle. That's where he makes all the rods, up north in his workshop, Brian.
Yeah, that is correct.
There's Linda over at Butterflies and Sunshine. How you doing, dear?
But yeah, shorter leaders. I don't really run long lead. I know guys run 4, 5, 6 feet leaders. I don't do that. Usually, if I got a 2-foot leader on, that's a long leader for me. But in the wintertime, usually about a foot to 18 inches is about as long as the leader I'll use.
I know that saltwater guys, I think it's now, don't quote me on this, I think it's called a chicken rig, and they'll run 15 to 20, 25 foot leaders off the back of them things in strong current. So, I mean, use as long a leader as you need, as short a leader as you need, whatever's going to get you fish. So the best way to learn is by trying, Jody, plain and simple.
Well, the thing about what I was saying about cold water, the fish aren't nearly as active. None of them are as active in cold water as they are. So why make it harder for them to chase down what they're going to eat? Just make it easy.
You know, with flathead being an exception, they got to eat even in the winter.
Yeah,
they got to eat. They're moving slowly. They might not need to eat as much, but they still got to eat. So,
yep.
That's what I was talking to Jerry Parker about deer, and he's like, "Yep, they still got to eat in the winter." So, Mark, find out where they're feeding, and you'll find the deer. That's the same for fish for the most part. So,
I told you a long time ago, if you can find the spot where they're eating and the spot where they bed down, all you got to do is get somewhere in between the two places, and you're golden.
Jody says it took me a few minutes to figure out the work up north joke. Okay. We're not surprised. We're not surprised.
Oh, man.
All right. So now here's the big topic of the night, Lyle, and I'm going to let you start. And I'm going to say is it one word or 2 words? You ready?
Yeah.
Live scope.
I have no desire for live scope. I would like to get on a boat with somebody that really knows how to use it and show me what it's all about. I think it should not be legal to use in tournaments, and you'll never change my mind with that. But with that being said, a lot of people said the same thing about side imaging. They said the same thing about 360 imaging, and it just goes around. When's it going to stop? It'll never stop. As long as people are allowed to keep producing this stuff and making it easier for people to catch more fish. A lot of people claim that it makes it so easy that they'll run out of fish. Well, fish are very resilient. They will overcome. They'll raise more young. More of them will survive. Something, Mother Nature will take care of the fish where there'll always be fish. But I don't think it should be allowed in any tournament of any kind. In fact, if you get caught with it on your boat, you should be banned from fishing tournaments for the rest of your life. And the reason is not because it's unfair advantage, it's because it's unfairly priced, and a lot of guys can't afford it. Therefore, they're in a deficit before it ever starts.
I have as far as tournaments go, Lyle, I think there could be, not that there should be, don't mistake the two comments, live scope tournaments and no live scope tournaments. I think that's a way around it. That's how you make everybody happy. If you want to fish in all the tournaments, you better get live scope. You better figure out a way to make that investment, whether it's through sponsorships or out of working overtime. It is what it is. Is it having okay, now I'm coming from the point of I have live scope on my boat. And to be honest with you, I really don't use it that much, Lyle. Yeah. I don't use it much at all, just because I'd rather be fishing than looking down at a screen the whole time I'm out, fishing. Does it help me find out if there's no fish where I'm fishing? Absolutely. If there's no fish, I'm moving to another spot. Does it help me flathead fish in a shallow river? 100% absolutely not. It does not. Not because the shallower you are in my river, 4 feet on average depth, you can barely see, through that water. There's too much disturbance in the signal. But then again, like I was saying, tournaments, there should be, they should have two classes. They can have a tournament and have two classes in there, one with live scope users and one with not. I know that Bass has gone through and they've made some rule changes where you only get so many inches of sonar screen and only so many live scope transducers. Guys were putting, 2 in the front and 2 in the back because they're using the horizontal view and they're using the vertical view, just like we're doing the show here today. So they're kind of trying to nip that in the butt, make it a little fairer for everybody. Catch and release tournament fishing. I mean, granted, is it making a difference in fish populations? I don't know. That's an interesting question to ponder. I haven't really given that a thought. But these guys that are pulling, limits of crappie out after limits every day, are they making a difference on the fish population? I don't know. We had an interview back when we were Panfish Nation with Mr. Lusk. Remember him?
I do.
He was Bob Lusk. He was saying, very knowledgeable guy. Yep. He was saying that you got to take fish or else there's going to be too many and you're going to stunt their growth. Now, I have firsthand experience where I have a pond here that I started bait fishing for. It's on the Fox River watershed, so it's legal to fish for bait there. That I've been fishing for like 8 years now. And I can tell you one thing, that those fish have tripled in size since I started taking bait out of that pond. Nobody else keeps any of the bluegill out of that pond. I do. But, in all those years' time, it's actually made a big difference in the size of the fish. Now, we had the Panfish tournament here, and I was fishing that day. I think I took second in that, and I don't think I caught one, that wasn't near or at a pound in size. That's how big them fish are. I've pretty much, I don't use bait fish that big on my river. So I've pretty much had to find other bait places that have the size of bait I want to use. But it sure is nice to get out there and chase them at a lunch hour. I ain't going to lie. But that's what I've seen out of my own experience. And in a short time, I mean, in 4 or 5 years time of fishing that pond, I've seen them get that much bigger. It's been pretty crazy to watch. The live scope might have that effect on a lake. I don't know. I really don't know. One other thing that I've learned is live scope doesn't catch the fish. I know a lot of people will say that, but what it does do is it makes them even more weary of taking baits from you. They make them harder to catch. That I know 100%. Whether it's the pinging of the sonar signal or whether it's just the fish that have learned their lesson from catch and release fishermen who use live scope, the ones that die off, they're the ones that get taken. They're no longer in the breeding pool. Maybe all that gets left are the smart ones who don't, take artificial bait as much, or even, live bait, so to say. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the years to come. I'd say in the next 5 to 10 years, we're definitely going to see a difference in the way fish react, especially when you're using live scope. So
one of the things that I can say about live scope, and I said this when they come out with it, it would be a great way to find bait.
Yep.
And I think now, this is just my opinion, I can't prove it, I think a lot of these commercial bait guys that are getting bait and selling it to bait shops and tournament anglers and different things, I think we really must be careful with that or they will hurt the skipjack and shad populations in some areas. Not all areas. There's places like Lake the Ozarks. You could take millions of them out of there every day, and there'd still be that many more when you went back. But everywhere's not like that. And some of these commercial skipjack harvesters in the last few years have, even like on Wheeler Lake and places like that, have made it a little bit tougher to get bait. So you're really going to have to watch that. And at that point, these conservation agencies need to put a limit on how many you can take out. Used to be unlimited almost everywhere. You go catch all the skipjack you wanted because they didn't think there was no end to it. But several states now have put limits on them because of that. And I think, that's just my opinion, I think that a lot of that has to do with live scope. It's easier to find them with.
I just saw a short the other day. I should have sent it to you, where these two guys in pickup trucks were pulled into a gas station, Lyle, and the whole bed of their trucks, both of them trucks, were filled with shad. So I'm thinking they were bait dealers for the most part, and they were just bringing them back to process, back to wherever they're going. But I guarantee you that they were probably using live scope and collecting that shad. It was a whole bunch of them for real. Whether the shad regulations ever come to fruition, I know there's skipjack regulations in states like you were saying. It'll be interesting to see how that happens. Now, that being said, the DNR is pretty good at responding to things like that. They know how to figure out biomass per acre and so on. Hopefully they can use tools like AI to figure that stuff out quickly and keep up with how technology is changing fishing for the most part. So
it is, because if whatever kind of fish that you fish for, whether it be crappie or bass or catfish, it doesn't really matter. If you deplete their main source of food, which Asian carp, believe it or not, will help that, because there's millions of them and they all eat them. But if you deplete their food, there's going to be an issue. So I don't mind seeing regulations on even shad. I know a lot of guys will go out and they'll get a net full of shad and they'll put them all in their live well. Of course, they die right away if you don't have a pretty good bait tank. And at the end of the day, they know they can get them the next day, so they just throw them out. Well, for some reason that doesn't set good with me. I think waste. Why waste it? If you're not going to use it all, or at least the biggest percentage of it, then just put them back. I mean, they'll be there when you go back.
Yeah, being wasteful is definitely something that pisses me off. Whether it's, keeping more fish than you can eat and it just going to crap in your freezer, or even never making it to the freezer, or these guys that just, keep a fish and let it die in their not aerated live well and end up just throwing it back dead into the water because they're too lazy to clean it. That really chaps my hide. I'm not a fan.
I don't go for that. I don't go for that.
Yeah. Lance says live scope doesn't make the fish bite, but it's funny seeing people get mad when the fish don't bite. I agree. You should see me. It used to piss me off, and then I pretty much gave up on it. So Josh says, I can't go for that reason. Side imaging was price prohibitive when it was introduced. Sonar itself was when it first came out as well. I agree, Josh. Everything comes down in cost over time. So that's a good thing about, competition. It does lower prices of things and make it better for other people, easier for people to afford. So
Greg Burgess says, I'm trying to get my boat set up to fish next year. I would like to show you guys all the things I see down here. We're looking forward to that, buddy.
100%, Greg. Can't wait to see it, bud. You just let us know. 100%. So now, like I said again, live scope is great. It doesn't make fish bite. We already kind of proved that. I think nobody will disagree with that. In the hands of a professional, like, any of the guys on the major league fishing tournaments and the bass tournaments, they know how to use it. The guys in the crappie tournaments, they really know how to use it. They've gotten pretty proficient in that. They know if they get 2 or 3 crappie out of a frickin' brush pile, vertical jigging, they know that's all they're going to get. They move on to the next brush pile and so on. I know a lot of guys use them on Lake Michigan here for salmon fishing. They don't target, well, they don't sharpshoot salmon, but they know where in the water column they are before they get to them. You know, because they're seeing out in front of the boat. That's a handy tool for that 100%.
Yeah.
I'll use it when I'm trolling just because I got it mounted on my trolling motor, which I need to change this winter when I got some downtime because I kind of hate it mounted on my trolling motor. But other than that, we've seen people use it to target flathead and blues in certain videos and even channel cats. But you know, if them fish are out there, you're going to see them on side imaging and down imaging as well. It's just how good you know how to use that tool. It's like anything. I remember when sonar came out on the graph paper, Lyle. We've had this talk many times. Mm-hmm. I remember everybody being butthurt about that happening. Like, oh, you're going to catch all the salmon out of the Great Lakes because that's where a lot of them were used, at least in my experience. And it didn't. The stocking program here in Lake Michigan, the salmon and trout population is a stock population in Lake Michigan.
Oh, really?
Yep, they've adapted to it. You know, there's natural fish that are born, but for the most part, they're not. They don't. So it's a stock population. You should see what those meetings look like. There's fist fights in those meetings with all the captains in there. Oh, my goodness. They should live stream one of that. It'd be like WWF.
I'd like to see some of that action.
If you come up here, maybe we'll get a chance to go to one. I'll talk to my buddy Rob at Lake Michigan Angling and find out when there's a meeting. He's told me a few stories about that stuff. He's a good dude.
That's the only reason I could ever go understand people going to a hockey game. Hockey is a very boring sport, kind of like golf. It don't get much worse than that unless it would be soccer. But the fights in the stands. The fights in the stands are where the action's at.
How can you say hockey is boring when you watch baseball? That's all I'm going to say.
All arenas running around on ice skates. Come on, man.
Baseball's a bunch of guys in pajamas touching pillows, going from pillow to pillow in their pajamas. What the heck? You want to go there? We'll go there.
I can't watch
hockey. They're moving at 30 miles an hour nonstop, back and forth all night long. Trying to get
golf has got to be the most boring thing that could ever be put on TV.
You know, golf is good for napping on a Saturday. I've had a couple of times where I've needed to fall asleep on a Saturday afternoon. I'll put golf on and boom, I'm out like a light. But anyway,
soccer does me the same way. Just a bunch of wannabe women out there running around chasing a ball. Jesus Christ, I can't believe people play that game.
Yeah, they play everything and anything. People watch stuff. Fishing is the sport of kings. I got to say right. that. Richard Gene is right. And those who can't fish play golf. Sorry, Luke Henges.
That's exactly right. If you're playing golf, it's because you probably didn't catch no fish that morning.
Chrissy says, the most exciting soccer game I ever watched was when my 4-year-old grandson played on a soccer team. God bless you, Chrissy.
Yeah, that's different. 4, 5, 6, 8, 10-year-old kid, but grown adults out there doing that just doesn't fly for me.
Now, Chrissy's saying that. I have to say this, folks. Whatever we say here, you do you. We're not telling you what to do.
That's right.
Or what not to do. Go do whatever makes you happy. We're not the ones that are going to say no. We're just giving you our opinions and what kind of the creeds that we live by. So,
and kind of hoping you don't agree with us.
Yeah, for the most part. Now here's the final question, or here's my thoughts on LiveScope, the final one, right? Now that I've had it for a while, would I buy it again? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't get a use out of it. I don't think it matches my style of fishing. Just is what it is. Is it a helpful tool? Absolutely it is. Is it worth the money at what it costs now? You know, you're looking at what, $4,500 all said and done, you know, with the wires and the extra power to run to it, mounts, the extra screen for the most part. A lot of guys like me networked it on their boat so they can see the screen on everything, and so on. Was it worth it for me? Nah, not really. Not really. I'm not a tournament guy. I don't consider myself a professional fisherman like some of you guys in chat do, like that Troy does. Troy thinks he's a pro fisherman. Pro gaming fisherman. I had to get that in there because he's listening.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he for sure is.
Speaking of Troy, he's got tomorrow on Real and Virtual Outdoors. He's got his live stream of him playing a hunting game on hunting video games. Go check him out. It's always fun to watch. I'll probably be in there if I get home in time from an appointment, and I'll be in there giving him heck just like he gives me heck here. So, Matt says, if you sell that live scope, you could get a really nice rifle. Yeah, that ain't no joke. There's Ernie Brown. What's going on?
Hey, Ernie.
Ernie's taking a shot at me, calling me the Great White Hunter. All right, now the last one, since Ernie brought up hunting, let's talk about this. Hunting over corn or bait, Lyle. What's your opinion on that?
Well, it depends on what, to start with, number one, it depends on what state you're in, whether it's legal or not. So if you plan on doing any of that stuff, be sure to check your local regulations. If you are a meat hunter and you're not a trophy hunter, if you're just going to kill something to eat, I can't say that it really makes much difference, because for the most part, small bucks or does are your better eating, as far as I'm concerned. Does it attract stuff? Yeah. But if you got to take it out 2 weeks before season opens, is it still effective? Yeah, it is. They'll keep coming around long after it's gone, just to see if you come back to put some out. So yeah, it does work. I don't personally see anything wrong with it, but in a lot of places it's illegal.
Yeah, I know in Illinois it is illegal. You can feed corn all year, but I think that's got to be up off the ground 30 days before you start hunting. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know if it's before hunting season opens or if it's before you start hunting for them. I don't know. But I know if you get caught using it, you get in a buttload of trouble here. And Miss Cindy has a valid point here. She says, opinions are like a-holes. Everybody has one, 100%. And now this a-hole, being me, has an opinion. So that's all I'm going to say. Oh, Ernie was refusing about Troy. Okay. He was talking about Troy giving me crap.
I find that hard to believe. I can't believe Troy would do that.
So, I mean, I don't know what to think, but I kind of agree with you. I mean, even if you're trophy hunting and you got your own property and you put some corn down, and let's say you're sitting in a blind or up in a tree stand, and that, buck of a lifetime comes walking, am I going to hold it against you for him going to your corn pile? And I've also seen videos where those trophy bucks, they don't go to feed plots, they don't go to corn piles, they stay on the edges and they stay away from that.
They mostly stay in the woods.
In the woods, 100%.
They're not coming out unless they got to, unless they're on a hot doe, or there's a reason why they come out of them woods. Them big bucks, once them horns, they know them horns are up there. They know when they're gone, and they know what you're looking for. They're not going to come out. They'll travel at night, and they'll stay in low areas. They'll travel the waterways. Unless they're on a hot doe, they're not going to be out unless they're starving, and most of them are not, because they feed at night.
They do feed at night. I got the trail cam pictures to prove it too. I've seen like 2 deer out during the day where I'm hunting. That's about it. One being a buck and the other being 2 fawns at one time, or does, I should say. I did see you know what I did see, Lyle? I saw a fawn bedded down when I was leaving the property to change my trail cam batteries this late in the season. So was that one just born late? Because that mother was
born late. Some of them born late. Some of them will get born later than others because the does get bred later than others. They all don't come cycle at the same time. A few years ago, I seen a buck trying to mount a doe with one antler already missing, and the other one was flopping around. It hadn't fell off yet, but it was just about to. And this was in March or April. And that doe just didn't get bred. Now, whether she was barren or not, who knows? But she still evidently was cycling because he was trying to mount her going across a field. And, of course, she was trying to get away from him. So it tells me she's probably old and not receptive any longer. But they will keep them antlers until all them does are bred. And then they start losing them.
Matt says natural feed is where it's at. Hold on.
Turn your volume back or your mic back on.
Oh, Matt says natural feed is where it's at. Don't use corn all year; it'll make them sick. I did not know that in the hot months. So that, that being said, what I've learned, in the last 2 months of being out there and trying to figure them out, is they move. They do different things like by the month. As the weather and the season changes, they move off of those cornfields that have been cut down into the woods. They come out again. All sorts of stuff. It's been a really cool learning experience. I'm really enjoying doing it. So
when I quit hunting open fields around the edges, cornfields, bean fields, the edge of the woods, and got in the woods, I've seen a lot bigger deer. Bigger. The deeper in the woods you get, the bigger the deer is. They don't have to come out. I mean, they get everything they want, especially a year like this year where the acorns are everywhere. There's millions of them things. And, they can live off of that and the grasses that grow in the forest and stuff like that. They know why you're chasing them. They're the biggest, the baddest in the bunch, and they know that's what you're looking for, and they don't have to come out unless they want to.
When I went to go swap those trail cam batteries out, I took a ride around the neighborhood that's just down the road, maybe 2 miles from where I'm hunting. And that's where all the deer were, Lyle. They were all in that neighborhood. They're laying in a cul-de-sac right around the houses, minding their own business. They're like, we're going to stay here till the firearms weekend is done with. And that's exactly where they were at. So
I'll tell you something that I noticed several years ago hunting with an ex-brother-in-law of mine. Clyde had a place that we hunted on, and we would walk by little wooded areas, acre or half acre, and jump big bucks out of them because they'd run into them places and lay down. Nobody would hunt them. They knew nobody's going to be in there, and we'd done that 2 or 3 different times and seen 2 or 3 different big bucks. They would go in there right beside a house one time. There was just a little patch of woods, and there was a big buck in it, just laying there.
Yeah, I bumped that fawn, and I bumped a doe on my way out. And that was on the conservation property as I was leaving because I got to drive through there to get off the farm. And they were in some of the thickest stuff in the world, not anything that I'd want to go back into. They were all hiding, tucked up in there. So that's definitely something I'm going to keep in mind when I'm looking. So, Ernie, go ahead, Lyle. Sorry.
Pine thickets, big bunches of pine thickets where you can't hardly walk through it. They'll be in there. Big brush piles, bulldoze piles. They'll get up in there and lay down right in them.
I believe it. Ernie Brown says, yes, you're right. The big bucks stay back. Yep, that's what I'm learning. Matt says there's 2 to 3 rut seasons. Good to know. And Chrissy says, Chrissy's the real hunter of that family over there between her and Ernie. She says, big bucks are smart. They know where safe zones are. That's how they get that big sense.
That's right.
Lance says, used to hunt national forest in Texas. That was behind a subdivision. Driving in there were big bucks everywhere in the subdivision. Yeah, I believe it.
They know you're not going to. They see them people out there all the time. They know they're not shooting at them. Why would they go anywhere else?
Oh yeah, Brian B says I got my first deer last week. I even had hair on my tires the next morning.
That's a tough way to get them, Brian.
Yeah, Brian hit you. Well, you got anything else you want to share your opinion about, Lyle, or are we done for tonight, bud?
No, you shut me off on Joe, so I guess I'm through.
Joe's old history. It's been a year now, so
I'm not done with him yet.
I know. We'll never forget him. He'll go down in the history books for the wrong reasons, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I think you're right. He'll go the same reason Jimmy Carter went down in history.
All right, everybody. So thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Keep warm if you got cold weather. Enjoy warm weather if you got it. Get out and do something, whether it's fishing.
Fish.
It's fishing and hunting sure beats shoveling snow, and I've done a lot of that in the last week.
And you got more coming.
Got more coming. A lot more coming. All right, stay warm, everybody. God bless. We'll see you next week. Bye.
See you, everybody.